Trump authorized the Soleimani strike in June. So, again, this kind of goes with the media runs out there. This impulsive guy who's angry about things and dangerous with foreign policy. He goes out there and he does this stuff just kind of willy-nilly and doesn't think it through. This was something that was planned back in June. And, of course, we've been going through the history of his tweets and his verbal spats with various members of the Iranian regime for, a couple of years now. And he made it very clear. He's like, don't threaten us. Certainly don't hurt an American. And when they continued to do that, and they continued to violate the nuclear deal, which they have done, okay? They violated, here's the thing. We know that they have violated the UN resolution co-component to it. There is dispute about how far they have violated, if at all, the actual document itself, okay? But there is people forget that there's two components to the Iran nuclear deal, and one was a UN resolution, which they definitively violated early on and have continued to violate since. But because it's the UN, again, they have no teeth. They don't enforce anything. So we've got all of this happening, and the president basically telling them, stop messing with us. Stop attacking shipping. Stop taking people hostage. Stop doing all that stuff. So in June, he greenlit an operation to take care of Soleimani, who, again, had been declared for many years a terrorist by the United States government, going back to at least the Obama administration, right? So President Trump in June authorized the option of killing senior Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani if Iranian aggression led to the death of Americans, according to NBC. The conditions for an operation targeting Soleimani were that it would be a response to Iran killing Americans and that the president would have to personally sign off on the order. There have been a number of options presented to the president over the course of that time, according to a senior official to NBC again, saying that an operation to kill Soleimani was put on the table some time ago. December 27th, the Iran-backed militia Kataib Hezbollah launched over 30 rockets at a U.S. military base in Iraq, killing an American contractor and wounding 4 military personnel. Trump decided to respond at the time the airstrike on those Hezbollah positions, but the group then led several days of protests at the American embassy in Baghdad, and that's how this whole thing spun out of control. It all spun out of control because a terrorist group that is funded, trained, and organized by Soleimani on behalf of the Iranian government launched an attack on Americans and killed one. That's the thing that everybody is leaving out of their news coverage of all of this. And so, because of that, the president of the United States authorized this operation to go forward. And apparently, we knew everywhere that this guy went, from everything that I understand, is basically we were tied at the hip to this dude. And so everywhere he went, we knew where he was going. We always had tabs on him. It's not like he was hiding or anything. He gets off the plane, gets into the car, boom, and it goes up. By the way, we're also finding out that U.S. Special Forces were actually trailing his vehicle when he got hit, just to do all the confirmation stuff. So they got there, took a bunch of pictures and all of that. We saw a lot of that stuff show up over the weekend on the internet. We had some pictures of Soleimani's hand and his ring in particular, but some of the aftermath of that attack have also been posted over the past weekend. And then, of course, Iran shoots down this civilian airliner. Now, I want to bring a couple of things up again, even though I'm well aware that you've heard this a million times. I just have to reset, okay? Iran had just launched a military strike against an Iraqi base with U.S. troops there, right? Now, again, the intelligence suggests they intentionally missed. We're now hearing it's because of a back-channel communication with the president. The president said, if you're going to respond, don't overplay your hand. So essentially, the president of the United States, from what we understand, according to this report that came out today, is he told the Iranians, if you're going to respond, you had better not hurt anybody. Because if you do, you're going to pay for it dearly. And then, of course, we know that the Iranians missed. Now, there are some of you out there, we took phone calls on Friday, who think that the Iranian missiles are just that bad. Others seem to suggest that it was intentional, and most of the military infrastructure suggested this was an intentional miss. It was supposed to be a message. And then they went to their own news networks and lied about the body count. They got MSNBC to lie about the body count and everything else. So anyway, I want to take it back to 2016 because Iran never should have allowed a civilian airliner to fly after they had just launched a military strike, especially when it was within the window of a response. They never should have allowed a military aircraft to take off, period. Minutes after it takes off, it's shot down out of the sky. Early on, we had all of the information that suggested that it was Iran that did it, and Iran has now finally admitted it after trying to cover it up and lying to everybody, bulldozing the site, taking all of the parts away, pretending that the black boxes and everything were damaged and all that other stuff, right? Back in 2016, a senior Iranian commander admitted, a senior Iranian commander who admitted to Iran's role in the recent downing of a Ukrainian airplane also bragged in 2016 that even the youngest Iranian officers have unilateral authority to conduct strikes like the one that downed the Ukrainian plane, killing every civilian aboard. So the Washington Free Beacon obtained a video of the same guy, this General Amir Ali Hajizadeh, the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, okay? Now he's a part of the aerospace division there. He said over the weekend that his country accepts full responsibility for the airstrike that brought down the Ukrainian commercial plane. He also said that his country's forces were on high alert following a ramp up in military tensions with the United States. Another reason why civilian aircraft should not have been flying in your airspace, period. U.S. officials familiar with the situation says that it is likely Iran mistakenly shot down the Ukrainian jet, fearing a retaliatory strike by the U.S., okay? Now, in 2016, he bragged about Iran's desire to launch attacks and is likely going to raise fresh concerns about the possibility of further strikes on commercial airlines flying in and around Iranian airspace. Also, probably don't do business in Iran. So, again, 2016, he's bragging, even our youngest military officers have the authority to shoot these things down at unilateral authority. They don't need approval from anybody. So, again, whether or not it was an accident or they were trying to blame the United States, I'll leave that up to you. We put that poll up on Twitter last week. Most people felt it was an attempt to frame, and then others felt that it was an attempt. It was close. Others felt it was just an accident. So let's see. What else do we have here? The president also tweeted in Farsi to the Iranian people who are protesting, and lots of them are protesting. You heard in the news sound bites there that that there was a lot of people who mourned Soleimani, and there were. But we also have reports that a lot of them were forced to do it or paid to do it, okay? And there's a lot of Iranians elsewhere that really are happy that he is dead. So liken it to one of our rallies, okay? You got a Pink Hat rally thing that happened, and that is a overwhelming minority of the country who believe what they believe. But they still have big rallies and things like that, and it showcases well for the news. But Trump sent out support for the protesters. Of course, he told Iran not to kill their protesters. Iran now is using live rounds against the protesters. Although I don't have any reports of them killing anybody. I have reports of them shooting a lot of people in the legs, which is interesting. But one of the, I think, most interesting aspects of this, and of course it's not getting major coverage in the U.S., is at one of the universities in Iran, somebody had put down American and Israeli flags to trample at the university, and the protesters who are protesting the Iranian government are refusing to step on those two flags. So they're not even just bypassing the U.S. flag and going onto the Israeli flag. They're refusing to step on either flag. And the few people who do actually walk across those flags are getting chastised by the crowd. I posted video of this. It's amazing to see. And, I mean, I hope it works out. Obviously, I don't expect there to be any significant changes or anything like that here soon, but I really do hope it works out for the Iranian people. Because, like I said, you go back to the 70s, and they were a thriving, beautiful, advanced country with freedoms, and they've lost all of that. And I want to see them get that again. It would be great to see that. Plus, the world would be more stable if they got that back. But we'll ultimately see. I'll cover a lot more of this stuff that I didn't get to here in the 5 o'clock hour, but we'll have to wait till then. Got a lot to cover until that time. The live stream is back up, okay? So you go to youtube.com/Casey the host or twitch.tv/Casey the host. That's CASEY. The live stream is back. First time we've live streamed since before the holiday break, and it is back up and running. And it's so far so good on the quality of it. Seems to be working pretty well. So again, YouTube or Twitch @Casey the host. We got more coming up. 95.3 MNC.